Hello, dear passengers. This is your captain speaking, and we are about to take off for another episode of Adventulina. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Adventulina. Happy November, happy new month. It's kind of crazy how fast time flies. I feel like next thing we know, it will be New Year's and then we start the game all over again. But for the last few weeks, if not the whole October actually, I cannot stop thinking of how much I want some cold weather, how much I want to experience some cozy, foggy days and nights. And San Francisco is kind of unpredictable when it comes to weather. It gets overcast and gloomy often in certain neighborhoods, but where I live in the city, we get a lot of sunny days, which I'm not, of course, complaining from. Summer here is pretty much September and October, sometimes even beginning of November. And it's been pretty nice since I came back from Bulgaria, even a little nicer than it actually is. Because the unusual heat, I guess, did not miss even our city by the bay. San Francisco is kind of bipolar, as I like to say, when it comes to weather. You never know what it will be. You go from neighborhood to neighborhood and it can be completely different. But I would say whatever you do, no matter how warm it is during the day, you always should have something to put on later. Just keep it in your bag or in your car, whatever. Because once the sun is down, it's a different thing. I've also been at the beach here in February sunbathing, and I have also been with my winter jacket watching a movie at the end of June. So you do the math. Basically, bring jackets and flip-flops, I would say. One time I even remember I was watching a movie at an outdoor theater close to the water in San Francisco, and I was wearing my North Face jacket and a beanie. And my friend who lives in the East Bay, she got a heat stroke the very same day. Like, I'm not even joking. Literally 20 miles away from each other, I was freezing, she got a heat stroke. That's what they mean when they say the coldest winter I've ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Like, if you have been here between May and July, you know what I'm talking about. The cool thing about living in a city like that, though, is that you don't get to experience extreme cold or extreme heat. We're somewhere in between. We don't have real winter. We don't have real summer. On the other hand, the mild weather makes us little spoiled bitches because we are never comfortable anywhere. You just get used to the mild weather here, and once you go somewhere a little colder, you're like, oh my god, I'm freezing. And the opposite as well. Once you experience some heat, you're like, oh my god, I'm sweating so bad, I cannot take it anymore. And I'm not making fun of anyone, this is also me, so maybe I'm making fun of myself. But yeah, it's just funny how I spent 29 years of my life in Bulgaria, living through 4 seasons every year. And then I came here, and for 4 years, I started bitching about anything under 55 Fahrenheit, about 12, 13 Celsius, and anything above 80 Fahrenheit, which is 25, 26 Celsius. But it's also the humidity. When I went to Bulgaria in mid-September this year, the first couple of days were kind of cold and rainy, but this was while I was staying in the capital city, Sofia. After that, almost all the time I spent in my hometown, weather was hot. At least, it was dry heat. Bulgaria had a really, really hot summer this year in the mid-90s for about 2 months, if not longer. Mid-30s for my Celsius listeners, sorry. So when I went there in September, I honestly thought that the heat would be over, but no. People kept telling me, oh, you decided to visit at the best time. A couple of weeks ago was so hot. And I was like, it's pretty bad now too, isn't it? Well, not according to them, I guess. They had a scorching summer and I was just a little spoiled brat. It was toasty, as I said, almost the whole time in Bulgaria, and I was honestly getting tired of it because combined with the absolutely insane schedule that I had there, running from place to place, trying to see friends and family, this heat made me even more exhausted than I was supposed to be. And of course, I was checking the weather in San Francisco. Meanwhile, I was also getting updated from my friends' stories on Instagram. And it was pretty hot in San Francisco as well, especially the week before I came back. It was some kind of a record heat for the city. I was like, damn, I'm excited for some chilly weather when I go back to San Francisco, but looks like it's the same there. So I was like, when I go back, am I even going to experience anything different? My trip back to the States was 30 plus hours, 9 of which a layover in Istanbul. And despite me trying to sleep in one of their nap lounges, I was still exhausted and I just couldn't wait to be in my own bed. On top of that, I was coming back on a Friday, which absolutely never happens. I always maximize my stay and come back last possible moment, literally. So by coming back on a Friday, I knew I was gonna have the whole weekend to recover, catch up on sleep, and just rest before the week starts again. And thinking of that kept me going through my second flight, the one that was 13 plus hours, which honestly felt like it was 20 plus hours because time wasn't moving at all. I was able to nap a little bit, but I just couldn't wait to get home. I couldn't wait to get back to the mild and chilly weather that I wanted. And guess what happened? I landed and it was freaking hot in San Francisco as well. I was like, what the hell? It gets so hot here once in a blue moon, and this blue moon is today, for real? If I have to be honest, the heat was not the only reason I was looking forward to going home. There was one more reason for me to want that chilly and, cozy, overcast weather. It wasn't just that my body needed lower temperature. The reason was I wanted to chill. I wanted to just throw my suitcases on the floor, take a long shower, and just lie down, eat some junk food, and maybe watch a show if I could even, keep my eyes open after 30 plus hours of traveling. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted the lazy weather. I wanted the weather that makes you not regret staying in bed all day long, Although I've never actually done it, but you know what I mean. So you would ask, why do you care what the weather is? Like, if you want to chill, just chill, Just stay home and rest despite what the weather is. And I agree with you, totally. But there is this voice inside of me that I can't help but hear. And this voice was telling me that I would regret staying home on such a nice weekend. Because yes, the weekend when I came back to San Francisco was absolutely amazing when it comes to weather. So the whole time since I arrived at the airport in Bulgaria, to the moment my feet touched American soil, I was only thinking of how I'm gonna go home, ignore everything and rest. And I found myself on the very next day after my arrival in San Francisco at the beach because yes, I was traveling for 3 weeks and I was completely exhausted and buried in luggage to unpack. But do I stay home when it's Saturday and when it's hot outside? Absolutely not. I mean, I had already spent 3 weeks in heat. I could handle one more day. And again, thank God it wasn't like humid heat in Bulgaria. It was dry hot because I wasn't gonna be that happy if I spent 3 weeks of humid heat. Which reminds me of my trip earlier this year where I did spend 3 weeks in heat and humidity. Yes, my annual East Coast trip. I love the East Coast. It will always remind me of my first summer in the US 12 years ago. I have really close friends there and, I call them family. I love being with them. I love New York as well, more than any other place in the world. Well, after my hometown in Bulgaria and San Francisco. But, if there is something I'm having a hard time with when it comes to the East Coast, this is the humidity in the summer. And since we're bitching about weather and heat more specifically, I decided to release some unheard footage and content from my East Coast trip this summer. Back in July and August, I went to see my friend Maya in New York. Maya is Bulgarian just like me. We met here in San Francisco. This is not the first time I visit her, but it was the first time I visit her in the summer. So I stayed with her for a week and then headed down to New Jersey to see my close friends who I call family. And I also visit every year. So here's another 10 days. And then as a last destination, I had Philadelphia. I had been there before, but the time wasn't enough. And I still had a lot of things on my list that I wanted to see. So you guys ready? Let's freaking go. adventure has begun. Let me give you guys some updates. I am already at the airport. I am currently at my gate waiting for the boarding. And honestly, I arrived barely 10 or maybe less than 10 minutes before the original hour for the boarding. So somehow I miscalculated my transportation to the airport. Either it took longer or I left a little later. But anyway, I made it on time. I was a little concerned at some point while I was on the subway, but then I also received a notification that my flight is delayed with about 22 minutes. So I felt a little relieved because I'm like, okay, I was worried I was going to be late and literally show up exactly when the boarding was supposed to start, but now sounds like I'm going to have a few more minutes, so I'm not going to be stressed. And everything went well except for, of course, there is always this except. When I was packing today, I was wondering if I should take my big suitcase or I should only travel with a carry-on, since last year I made it only with a carry-on for almost 3 weeks. Well, I decided to take the risk and take my... Oh, okay, there's a kid wandering the airport anyway. So I decided to take my big suitcase and I started packing. And I guess the more space you have, the more things you decide to take. And I'm pretty sure from the gigantic amount of clothes I took, I want to see how much exactly I'm going to wear, because I'm pretty sure half of them I'm going to end up not even using once. But let's see. So I started pretty much overpacking, and next thing I know, I could barely close my big suitcase. And I'm like, damn, like that's pretty much the same suitcase that I went to Alaska with, and I would fit like thick clothes and jackets and warm stuff. And now I'm only packing for summer and I'm out of space. Like I had to stuff my backpack so bad. And when I lifted my big suitcase, I was like, damn, I'm sure this is more than 50 pounds, which is the limit for your checked-in luggage. So I was like, oh, great. Now I have to pay for my luggage, or I have to throw something away, which is really unpleasant. And I was like, okay, let me get prepared. Let me think about what I would throw away in case of overweight. So I already had a plan to get rid of my sunscreen, the big bottle that I bought like just 2 weeks ago, and one big body lotion. So I was like, okay, these things I can live without and I can buy them after. So if my luggage is overweight, this is the first thing I'm throwing away. So I got to the airport and I printed the back tag for my suitcase. Then I weighted it and it was 43 pounds. So I was even 7 pounds less than the limit. Perfect. And once I walked away from the check-in desk, my first anxiety attack came with the message from Find My iPhone application, which said, your luggage is no more detected around you. It was last spotted at blah, blah, blah. And these are the notifications that you get once you get further away from your devices. It means your phone doesn't detect them anymore. It's normal. Although every time I receive them, I just freak out. But again, let's hope for the best. I'm going to be tracking the AirTag in my suitcase. So hopefully everything will be fine. And again, this is a direct flight to New York City. So I really hope they don't mess it up because there are no connecting flights. So it should be easy for them just to put it in the right cargo and then just, unload it from the same cargo to the right baggage claim. So keep your fingers crossed. We were about to take off. We were cruising on the runway, and I hear the flight attendant saying, make sure your seatbelts are fastened. The captain wants to try something new. And I remember immediately taking a look at the person next to me. We just kind of needed the confirmation that, each of us had heard right. I got a little scared, if I have to be honest. I was like, what the hell does this mean? Like, what can he try when we are in the middle of the runaway? Like, not gonna lie, some thoughts of the plane being hijacked crossed my mind, but then I was like, no, it can't be. But I didn't feel any difference from the usual taking off that I'm used to. I still don't know if, they were really trying something new or this was a joke, because the same flight attendant made everyone laugh while he was giving the flight safety instructions. So he was saying things like, oh, if you're traveling with a child or someone who acts like one, What was the other one? If you don't like our service, exits are on both sides. And stuff like, we're going to walk around and check if seatbelts are fastened because, as I told my ex, I love you, but I don't trust you. And I think one of my favorite ones was, what was it? If the cabin loses pressure, please stop screaming and use the mask in front of you. But yeah, I think he was really funny. There was another one. In case of emergency, the seat will be ejected from the aircraft. Everyone was laughing. He was super funny. And I also liked what he did before he started the safety instructions. He said, "Is anyone missing this item?" So everyone took a look at him and he was like, "Since I have your attention now, let me tell you a little bit more about our safety rules." That was pretty clever. Yeah, I have to admit it. During the flight, there was some really interesting noise, or at least interesting to me. I couldn't figure it out. It sounded like a crying kid first, but then it reminded me of a cat. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. And
welcome to New York. The local time is 7:51 a.m. Please keep your seatbelts on. Our pilots will turn off the seatbelt sign once it is safe to get up. Your belongings should remain stowed until we've safely reached the gate.
okay guys, so let me give you an update. Oh my god, I'm out of breath. So flight was good. There was like almost half an hour delay, but we departed on time. I was able to even nap a little bit, which was weird, unusual, but nice. I got a middle seat, which is not ideal for me, and it's very challenging in any aspect if I want to rest. But this time, I guess, me being exhausted had the final word. So I was able to nap a little bit. It felt like it was a pretty short flight. So I landed at JFK, took the train, took a second train, and I think a third train. Yeah, I think I took 3 trains. So currently I'm walking in Queens towards my friend's place where I'm going to stay for the next week. But yeah, this is the update so far. Also forgot to mention about my luggage. The second I arrived at the baggage claim, I literally saw my suitcase already on the baggage claim. So it took 2 seconds for me to pick it up, and I was super happy. I didn't even have to track it. Hold on. Sorry. Can you say already that I'm in New York? Yeah, well, I actually tracked it for a second. It showed that it's on the plane while we were landing, and after that I just found it at the baggage claim first thing when I arrived there. So it was pretty stress-free, and I'm super happy. I'm gaining more confidence to travel with checked-in bags now. Guys, it's hot here. It's like way warmer than I can handle. And here it comes the bitchin'. So next few days will be challenging because the humidity is too much for me. I'm already sweating my ass off while I'm walking, and of course my big suitcase and my gigantic backpack contribute a big time. Ew, almost stepped on something really disgusting. But yeah, my luggage doesn't help at all. It's so heavy. Well, stop complaining. You are the one who took 57 outfits for 3 weeks. After 1 bus, 1 subway, 1 flight, 3 trains, and 20 minutes walking. And after I almost got crushed because of 2 doors in the metro that closed on me, I have finally arrived at my final destination. So welcome to New York. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can do. That was horrible. If you turn this shit off right now, I forgive you. I want you to know that. Another thing I meant to mention was that the very second I stepped on the street out of one of the trains, I could already feel I'm in New York. There's just this specific noise that you cannot mistake. It's always New York. The New York. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Speedy lifestyle. It's everyone in a rush. It's the sirens. It's the traffic. It's a combination that it's very specific. So it was a great moment to just, stop for a second and be like, okay, I am here again. I'm back. So after very little sleep and walking around Queens like a donkey, I decided to do the thing that I always do when I'm at the East Coast. Get some Dunkin' Donuts coffee and actual donuts, of course. Honestly, I used to think that there is no Dunkin' Donuts in California. I thought it was an East Coast thing, like In and Out for us. It's only on the West Coast, or at least for now. So, living in the illusion that Dunkin' Donuts is not available in California made me create my own little tradition of having it first thing when I arrive on the East Coast. Now I guess I can relax knowing it's also available, I guess, 30-40 minutes away from where I live in San Francisco. Left the house to go get some coffee and maybe some dessert. I want to walk in the neighborhood. I want to just distract myself a little bit. And it is insanely hot. I'm not exaggerating. It's 90 something. I think 90 or 91. And it's humid as shit. So guys, I do not recommend going out unless you really, really want that coffee and that dessert, which in my case is true. I do want them. Let's see what's the plan for tonight once my friend is off work. But currently, I am having a hard time adjusting to this weather, especially after yesterday I was going to the airport and I was wearing sweatpants and sweatshirt and a jacket. And right now, even if I get naked, it would still not be enough because it is too hot. So traditionally, I got Dunkin' Donuts because this is a small thing that I always do when I arrive at the East Coast. It's nice to switch from Starbucks, Peep Coffee, Blue Bottle, and all those brands to something a little more different. Also had a donut. Thank God for the wind, otherwise I don't know what I was gonna do. I almost finished my coffee, and it's iced coffee. I don't usually drink iced coffee, but it's so freaking hot right now that I don't really care. Like, I'll take it. And I'm just walking around and kind of like exploring the neighborhood. It's pretty nice, except for the heat, of course. So my first evening in New York was very chill. We had a surprise party for my friend's birthday and we stayed in. And thank God, because there was a storm that I would not want to experience anywhere outside, if you know what I mean. The next day, I went to pick up my friend from work in Manhattan and we spent the entire evening there walking around. But man, that first glimpse and that first sound of the busy Manhattan streets, probably one of my favorite sounds, if such thing existed. I am getting off the subway and I'm back, baby. Central Park. Oh my God. Okay, I'm back. I am officially back. Welcome back to New York, baby. So after that day, I had 4 full days for, I wouldn't say exploring New York because I've been there so many times, but I would say exploring. You're like, bitch, that didn't even make sense. Yes, because New York is not a city, it's a world. And because no matter how many times you've been there, you still haven't seen a big chunk of it. And even if you are a travel psycho like me that doesn't stop in extreme heat or rain or whatever, you still have a lot to see in this incredible city. And as I said, I have been there so many times. I decided this time to just walk, to literally just walk and see where I was gonna end up. I decided to go with no plan, and I can say at this point, I know the city well enough to move around even without a GPS, so I kind of wanted to just wander around and decide what to do at the moment. This, of course, lasted about half a day, if not half an hour. And then I started putting some places on my notes, and then the list got longer. And then I was like, fuck it. We all know I'm not gonna go unprepared and without an itinerary, even to a city that I have been to almost 10 times so far. So I just decided to, let myself be who I am and not pretend. And I made a legit 4 full days itinerary just full of places that I still hadn't seen. So sue me. Good morning. I am on my way out. It's my first full day in the city. And last night we hung out in Manhattan. We went to Central Park, ate some gelato. Well, I ate my gelato, Maya dropped her in the middle of the street, but different story. Anyway, I am on my way to the subway station. The train from here, I'm in Queens, in Astoria. The train from here is barely, I want to say between 10 and 15 minutes, and it takes you so fast to Manhattan. It's perfect. So I'm gonna be there all day long. Today is the first day with clear skies. The previous 2 days were kind of cloudy, overcast, and the first evening it was pouring rain at some point. It was like a really big storm. I hadn't seen a storm like this for a while actually. Thunder, slides, and pouring rain. So yesterday wasn't as hot as my first day. Today it's, I want to say, 86, 87. So my plan today includes about 12, 13 places. And I know I've been here many times, and I know I said I just want to walk this time and see what life takes me. But guys, come on, that's me. There's no way for me to go somewhere and not put like even a short list with places. So yeah, pretty packed itinerary. Tonight we're going somewhere, I don't even know where. I guess like dinner or rooftop, I don't know. As you guys know, New York City has like a lot of rooftops, all with gorgeous views and stuff. So let's see how the day will go. Don't you just love when you can enjoy nice music in the subway, along with all the crazy shit going on there? And by the way, when I said that it felt like 86, 87 degrees, that was a complete BS. It was just 78, way cooler than I thought, but I guess the humidity just tricked me again. Still hot like shit though. So the first thing on the agenda for my first full day in New York was going to the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. I wanted to check if they had one really good coffee drink that I had tried in Seattle before. Last year, when I went to Seattle for the first time, I checked out their Starbucks Reserve Roastery, and I had the best coffee drink I've ever had. I wouldn't call it a coffee because there were way too many things inside that cup for it to be called coffee, but you know what I mean. So I headed to the one in New York, hoping that, I will find the same thing on the menu. It was something with Blanco, Bianco, but I couldn't remember more. I knew though, if I saw it on the menu, I would recognize it immediately. And guess what? I was on the line, almost my turn to order, and I check out the menu, and what do I see? The exact same drink. So I got excited that, I was gonna try it again. I truly thought that it was either gonna be something limited edition or something seasonal as an item, or maybe something they only offer in Seattle. I don't know. And I even forgot what the taste was. I just knew it was bomb. So now I was gonna have it again, and I wanted to see if it's really that good. Speaking of Seattle, if you guys are planning on going to Seattle anytime soon, I recommend you going to my website. There is a 4 full day itinerary that you can just copy, you can steal, you can use. I think it will make you feel really prepared, and it will help you organize everything to see and do in Seattle. Anyway, okay, moment of truth. Let's see if it's the same and if it's as good as the last one. Yeah, I think it's the same. First stop after breakfast was Chelsea Market. So I went to Chelsea Market. They had amazing vendors. They had amazing stuff. Literally, if you have $2,000 and 10 minutes to spend it, that's where you need to go. So many things like jewelry, bags, clothes, food. Oh my God, so many food options. It was amazing. It reminded me of Pike Place Market in Seattle. It was very, very cool. I regretted a little bit having breakfast at Starbucks because I could have got food from the market, but that's okay. After the market, I went to Highline, which is a really popular walk in New York City. It's literally going between buildings. It's a few miles long. Not sure how long it takes to walk the whole thing, but I'm almost at the end at this point. I've been walking for probably 30 minutes. It's very nice because you're walking in between buildings. You have amazing views of the city, and it's all green around you. There's so many plants and bushes and trees and stuff. It's also very refreshing because it's getting like hotter and hotter with every hour, and there's plenty of shade, there's plenty of water. Great experience as well. There's some food options, some arts and crafts. So a little before the end of the High Line, if you start from Chelsea Market, you would reach the Vessel. The Vessel is an iconic new building in New York. It was finished in 2020, if I remember correctly. About 3 years ago, during one of my visits, we got tickets to go up on the Vessel, as the architecture is super interesting. And if you guys haven't heard of it, you should Google it and see it. So we got our tickets, but they were canceled a few days before we arrived in New York due to a really unfortunate event. So the Vessel remains closed since then. I hope they actually find a way to make it, safer for the future, and they maybe start letting people in. I was walking around the Vessel and I noticed some people chilling on the lounge chairs placed around directly under the sun, like watching some sports, and I was like, you can't pay me enough to sit here right now. It not in this temperature. I don't know how these people are doing it. Like I can barely stand in the shade and they're just sitting in lounge chairs under the sun. It's crazy because right now it's getting hotter and hotter. It's supposed to be the hottest part of the day in a couple of hours. Also, make sure you stay hydrated if you come here during the summer because it is toasty. And I already drank maybe 2 or 3 small bottles of water. There are plenty of places for you to fill them up, so make sure you take advantage of that if you're here during those months. Okay, so I decided to get a bike and bike all the way down to Chelsea Market because I've been walking for almost 1 hour on this High Line. I finished the whole path, and instead of walking all the way back, it was gonna be super sunny and hot, so I'm like, yeah, let's get a bike. So I'm biking down there. I should be there in 2 minutes. Just stopped here because there's a pretty beautiful view that I want to check out, and on to the next part of the itinerary. So I checked out few more cool things at the piers of New York. There are gorgeous water views out there. There's one really nice garden that I checked out. I think it's called Little Island. I've been wanting to go check it out for a while. The last time I was here, it was December, so it wasn't a good time. Anyway, I'm walking towards a friend's apartment here in New York, the building that they used in the show, to show Monica Rachel's building. They technically didn't film here. Everything was filmed in LA, but they used this building as a reference from the outside. I've been there in 2018. I've seen it. I'm just close. I want to see it again. Not that it changed, but I'm just diehard Friends fan. So for me, it's never too many times. And it's still extremely hot. I think I kind of got used to it at this point. Yeah, sure. That's why you can't stop bitching about it. So my ass is sweating. I think all the clothes on me are pretty wet. But who cares? I'm in New York. Would sound more convincing if I wasn't mentioning it every 2 minutes. Anyway, back to the Village, one of the best, in my opinion, neighborhoods in New York City. I love this neighborhood so much. I remember coming here for the first time 6 years ago during one of my New York trips, and I loved it. It's so cozy and so beautiful, so charming. And so many trees, so much shade. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So after I saw friend's apartment, again, not really the apartment, but the building they used for the show, I'm just walking down and I'm gonna go check out Carrie Bradshaw's apartment from Sex and the City. The original address, actually, for whoever is a fan of Sex and the City, The original address is way uptown, 80 something, I believe, 80 something street, uh, on the west side, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously, uh, that's the address they give in the show, but the actual building they used is here in the West Village. So I'm gonna go check it out. I'm not sure if I will be able to recognize it though, because I have watched Sex and the City probably, I don't know, 3, 4 times, but not as detailed as Friends. And Friends I have watched from season 1 to season 10 more than 70 times at this point. Yes, 70. So I'm not like a die-hard Sex and the City fan. I just like the show, the original show. So since I'm really close, I'll go check it out. Okay, I've been walking around West Village, but I really need to eat something because I have only had this croissant this morning, croissant, however you pronounce it. So I am starving, and in this heat, it's horrible to be hungry. But also, I cannot get really hungry in this degrees. So I am currently walking towards Washington Square Park. I have been there before. I decided to go one more time since I'm close. But I'm looking for something on my way to stop and have a bite because it is time. It is long due, actually. And then I found one really cute Italian restaurant in the village. I was craving pasta and I needed some carbs. I was super exhausted from the heat and, I needed something big, a portion that was going to actually make me full. So I had some nice late lunch with myself. Also destroyed a tiramisu. I think I haven't given an update for a while. I guess I've been having too much fun. But yeah, it's Sunday. I think the last update I gave was on Friday, which was my first full day in the city. So on Friday, after a full day of exploring and walking and riding a bike and seeing new places, I went out for a dinner with my friends. And after dinner was amazing, by the way. It was a really nice place. After dinner, we ended up at another place, and after this one, at another place. I don't know how that happened, but somehow it was already 4 a.m. and we were having fun, so time pretty much just flew so fast. So on Saturday, we slept in a little longer than I would personally enjoy, but we all needed it. We all were tired. We went to bed extremely late, and the heat is also very exhausting. So for me, since I'm not used to it, which I keep repeating in every fucking recording, it just makes me way more tired than I would be if it was like 10 degrees less, or 10 Fahrenheit, I guess. So on Saturday, we had a really chill plan. We wanted to relax the first half of the day, and for the second half, we wanted to go to this rooftop place where there was a party. The view of the city was amazing. I mean, every view of the New York City skyline, honestly, I'll take and I'll love. So this place was really cool. We spent a few hours there. It was in Williamsburg on top of the Moxie Hotel. I had never been to Williamsburg before, but I really liked it. It was pretty vibrant. It was pretty colorful. It was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco in a way. And we had amazing tacos, which was surprising to me because New York is not known for the best Mexican food. But those tacos were amazing. I don't remember the name of the place, but bomb. And after we left the rooftop party, we went to grab some ice cream and headed down to Domino Park, which is a park in Williamsburg on the East River. So the view there was amazing as well. I mean, how can it not be? I don't know. I love the city so much. So yeah, now it's Sunday. I'm already in Manhattan. I just arrived with the subway, and I have another day of exploring. In an hour, we are going to Top of the Rock, which is an observation deck on top of Rockefeller Center. I've been there before. I think it was 2013, but now there is a new attraction. at the top of the rock, which is called the Beam. If you guys have seen this really cool photo from the construction of Rockefeller Center with like, I think 7 or 8 guys just having lunch, hanging out on the 100 and something floor. So this experience is kind of like dedicated to this. They're trying to recreate it, so they take a photo of you. It's pretty cool. I don't think described it very well, but yeah, I'm excited and of course a little bit anxious because it's related to heights. So I hope I don't embarrass my friend by screaming or, you know, saying something inappropriate. But yeah, it is hot again. I'm not gonna get tired of repeating it. It's hot. Thank God it's cloudy, so it's shady right now. But still too much for me. I feel like my top is already soaked. So I'm gonna go get coffee at this place called Raf Cafe. It's a popular spot. I meant to come here last time I was in New York in 2022 because they also have a really nice Christmas decoration. But for some reason we couldn't make it there, so now I'm gonna go check it out, eat some breakfast before we head to top of the rock, and I'm gonna meet my friend in like half an hour maybe, and I'll keep you guys posted. So I'm currently walking down Park Avenue just because for the last couple of days I walked on Fifth Avenue a few times and I wanted to get a little bit of variety, kind of change of the scenery for today. So I purposely took this way. Let me cross like a New Yorker. Damn it. Yeah, crossing here is a little different, but anyway. Another thing I wanted to say was that this time I don't have the problem of buying souvenirs because I've been here almost 10 times. And as you can, assume, I got my souvenirs way back in the years. I'm pretty sure I even have one pretty nice small souvenir, something like a glass sphere full of water and the skyline of New York City. I believe it's in my room in Bulgaria. Postcards, I have a couple of magnets, maybe even 3 or 4. I have souvenirs brought from friends from New York, so I don't need to check out souvenir stores. Although I wanted to buy a tote bag because tote bags is a really big part of people's outfits here in the US in general, especially people in San Francisco. So I incorporated it in my style as well, and I love them because honestly they're big, they can fit a lot of stuff, and they're just comfortable to wear, and also go with a lot of things. So I wanted to get a cool tote bag from New York because I didn't have one, and I found an amazing one so big that I'll be able to go to the beach with it and put blankets and snacks and stuff. So I'm excited to use it. I don't know, I'm walking down Park Avenue and it's so quiet. I don't even need to yell in the phone to be able to record. So that's interesting. That's new. Which later I would realize I did need to yell because now all the recordings are kind of muffled. So, quick update. It's Monday morning and it's my last, if I could say, full day. I'm leaving on Wednesday to New Jersey. So yesterday we went to Top of the Rock. It was amazing. 2013 was the last time I was there. They didn't have this attraction, the Beam. We did it yesterday. It was great. We took some awesome photos. And after that, we quickly visited the St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is right across. I have seen it many times, but I've never been inside. So that was cool to see. And after that, we drove down to Soho. We walked around Lolita, which is north of Little Italy. We went to a few stores and then checked out Little Italy, which was really nice and cool. I live in the Italian neighborhood in San Francisco, so for me it was very nice to go there. I have been there once in 2012. Now it's even more vibrant and nicer. We hung out around those neighborhoods. It was Sunday, so it was pretty packed everywhere, although traffic was kind of light, which surprised me. Here's the moment to mention, if you guys are in the Little Italy in New York, don't miss the Christmas in New York store. This store is exactly what it sounds like. It's a literal Christmas in New York. It's a store where you can buy Christmas decoration all year round, and they literally, I repeat, literally have everything you can think of as Christmas decoration. They have Christmas tree ornaments with absolutely everything imaginable. I'm not joking. I'm also not joking when I say we spent maybe 40 minutes walking around and debating what to take and what not to. Because trust me, once you're there, you will want to buy everything. I had never seen anything like that. The store was super big, 2 floors, but also the quality and the variety, it was mind blowing. And just as I was saying, I didn't have the problem with buying souvenirs, huh, think again. I ended up deciding which Christmas ornament to buy for maybe more than 20 minutes just because I wanted the best one. And maybe some of you would remember that last December I decided to start a new travel souvenir collection with Christmas ornaments from different states and countries. I was in San Antonio, I saw this cool Texas Christmas ornament. I'm like, okay, why not starting a new travel souvenir collection? So I needed the best one for my collection from New York. And as I said, they all were amazing, so choosing was pretty hard. And I got one at the end, of course. And I want to say that this holidays, it will be proudly displayed on my tree. But I'm serious. If you're kind of indecisive when it comes to shopping, good luck, my friends. They literally have everything on Christmas ornaments, from the regular Santa stuff all the way to every profession or food meal available. It's awesome. Then we went to pick up some food. I mean, it sounds like after lunch we picked up food, but we're talking hours after lunch. We went to pick up some Indian tacos or whatever it's called. This place was called Taco Mahal. It was amazing. Imagine like Indian naan and like tikka masala inside, like a taco. I don't know if I can describe it. Just go get it if you can. It's the most amazing Indian food I've ever had. I like Indian food, so this was absolutely my favorite so far. But eating it as a taco, similar to taco, was even like more insane. So after that, we were so full. We couldn't literally move. That's how full we were. So we just went to Long Island City, one place where the view of the city is amazing. But of course it is. Like, I mean, the view to the city from everywhere is amazing. So we stayed there for a little bit for sunset and just talked and chilled, left. And today is already Monday, so I'm on my way to the subway station going to Guggenheim Museum. I'm excited because I've never been there. After that, I want to go ride the Roosevelt Island tram, which is also a popular thing to do. And then I'm going to go to the public library, one of the branches, I think the main one, which is next to Bryant Park in Midtown. Quick note that in the main branch of the New York Library, you can see the original toys from Winnie and the Pooh. They are kept there and they're displayed for the public. It doesn't cost anything. The building itself is very impressive to see as well from inside, so I highly recommend it. And also, I love reading books. I even have one in my bag right now, so I can, at some point, stop maybe at a park or something and read a little bit. But I always go to like public libraries. I like checking them out. I like walking in between aisles, all surrounded by books. So I'm excited to see that as well. I may stop by real quick at Times Square, which probably a lot of you won't understand. I've been there multiple times. Every time I come here, I go to Times Square. The only time I didn't go to Times Square was when I came here for Christmas almost 2 years ago. I didn't go because they don't really have any Christmas decoration there. So my goal in December was to see everything Christmas related. And since Times Square didn't really have any fabulous decoration, I just skipped it because I had been there many times. But it's kind of like the symbol of the city in many ways, for good or for bad. So I still want to stop by and spend maybe a few minutes. I don't care how touristy it is. And then we have movie night tonight in Bryant Park. There are multiple places in New York City where you can go for outdoor cinema. So I was specifically interested in Bryant Park because it's a favorite location of mine. And can you believe that? They literally had the date for Bryant Park during my stay here, which I cannot believe because I'm never that lucky for things to literally happen the same way I want them. And yeah, so tonight, I don't even know what the movie is, honestly. I just wanted to go for the experience. And that's the plan for today. I may grab a coffee and some kind of breakfast before the museum if I make it on time. And I'll keep you guys posted. So this day was super fun as well. It started off at Guggenheim Museum, as you heard. I'm not the biggest art fan, as I've shared before. I like going to museums, but I'm not going to spend a whole day there just because, first, I don't understand art to the level I need to for me to stay there all day. And second, I would like to dedicate that time to something I am more interested in. But every time I go somewhere, I check museums and I try to see at least one per destination, or at least whichever is iconic or has something iconic inside, you know? I can safely say that Guggenheim, along with the Metropolitan Museum in New York, are the most popular ones in the city. And since I've been to the Metropolitan Museum before, I wanted to check off the Guggenheim Museum from my list. I went there and honestly spent less time than I expected. The museum is not that big. The iconic spiral architecture makes it pretty easy and fast to walk around without, forgetting which part you checked and if you skipped anything. I generally liked it. I think I admired the building itself more than the actual art inside, if that makes any sense. Not sure if it was the exhibitions they had at the time I went or it was something else, but I was not as impressed as I thought I was gonna be. Maybe this is me not completely understand art or not understanding it enough. I don't know, but I will take it. I love the experience and I'm happy I was finally able to do it. I have a comment though. As iconic as the design of that building is, both inside and out, I can't help but notice how this design was kind of ruined by the digital stuff they put inside. And let me explain. I don't know, call me a grandma, but I don't think that much digital shit has anything to do with such place as the Guggenheim Museum. It kind of ruined the whole design for me. On top of that, whatever these displays show changes and moves so fast that makes even someone like me dizzy. Someone who has no problem at any roller coasters and someone who can take, all kinds of movements for prolonged periods. So these digital screens do not fit the overall architecture and vibe of the museum in my opinion. But again, who am I to judge, What do I know? I'm just, expressing what I observed and felt while walking around. The usual museum peaceful atmosphere wasn't there for me, if I can say that. But that's okay, because right after I left the Guggenheim Museum, I stepped into one of my most favorite places in New York City, and that's Central Park. The minute I set foot there, I was already so excited, almost like I had never been there before. I walked around, chilled for a little bit, and then I went to this famous bakery with multiple locations in New York, Levine Bakery, I believe. Well, I just want to confirm what you will probably hear from every person who has been there. Don't miss that bakery. Oh my god. The pig I am. I got 4 pastries and honestly, I wish I had got more because they were all amazing. The banana bread, guys, I would fly back just for it, I swear. I would actually fly back just to go to the Indian taco place and top with dessert from the Levine Bakery after that. I mean, of course, New York has some of the best food in the world. You kidding me? But yeah, seriously, this bakery, it wasn't even expensive. I expected something way more expensive. After I picked up those sweets, I went back to Central Park and found a spot where, I just put my blanket and I had about 2 hours of peace and quietness. I had my pastry, I read my book, life was going good, good time, until I realized I had to pee. Something I hate about Central Park. That's the only thing, because it's like an amazing place. There are no freaking restrooms here. It's insane. Like for such a huge park, they barely have 5 restrooms in the whole thing. And I've been walking for 15, if not 20 minutes, just to find a restroom, and I keep following freaking signs, and I don't go anywhere. I don't see anything, and it's like, why does it have to be so fucking hard? Like, just put more. It's such a big park. You can't expect people not to go all day. You're basically forcing them to pee in the bushes, goddammit. I guess for a moment I forgot about the heat and I started bitching about a new thing. Finding a restroom here is like the Caribbean treasure. You have to just search for it insanely. But yeah, right when I was ready to give up and probably hide somewhere and pee, finally found it. But I don't know, it's ridiculous. Even goddamn San Francisco has way more restrooms than this. So, and I better not have to pee again, because I'm not coming back. Hell no, I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes on my way to the bathroom, so I'm not gonna drink anything. I would rather not drink anything and be thirsty than, walking for 20 minutes in desperate attempt to find a restroom. After chilling at Central Park for about 2 hours, I headed to Roosevelt Island, another thing on my list that I hadn't had time for on my previous visits. This is something I also highly recommend because it's a great experience. It will reward you with amazing city views. It's cheap, it doesn't take much time, and it's super easy to get there. It's basically a huge lift from Manhattan to the closely located Roosevelt Island and back. The tram fits, I want to say, about 50 people, maybe more, not sure. But I found it pretty cool, and I think it should be on everyone's New York list. Then, as planned, I checked out the public library, and it was time for movie night in Bryant Park. This is also something that I think is a must during the summer. There is something super special about, sitting in between the skyscrapers in Manhattan, chilling on your blanket and watching a movie. It's just a different vibe. We got snacks, we were ready, but the weather surprised us a little bit in the middle of the movie. It started raining at some point. But at least it was, warm summer rain. So it was okay. We still, got wet, but we stayed until the end. We just covered ourselves with one of the blankets. The day after, I went to Manhattan one more time to have another thing I had tried before and loved. It was a salmon sandwich from this place called Lanwich. Yes, Lanwich. Then I walked a little bit more around to kind of say bye to the streets. Until next time. It's my last night in New York. I am just laying down and packing. I actually stopped packing because I got tired, and I'm 80% ready. The other 20%, I still need those things tomorrow. So I want to say pretty good progress. I just want to be almost done when tomorrow comes, because I don't want to stress myself out with packing everything last moment. And I can't believe it's my last day, my last evening. It just feels like I just arrived, and at the same time it feels like I've been here for like 2 or 3 weeks. We just did so many things. We went to so many places, and I saw so much. Favorite places, new things that I just checked out for the first time. Being in New York is always amazing, and I always leave extremely impatient to just come back as soon as possible. It's crazy, guys. I've told you. What I feel towards New York is something I don't feel towards any other destination, and it's so funny. I don't know how to describe it, but it is what it is. And it was time for me to leave and go to New Jersey. I had a bus ticket from New York to Atlantic City. Not my first time doing that, so I'm currently at the bus terminal. It is a whole airport here. Like, I've been here before, I think But damn it, this is straight airport for buses. This is a bus port, guys. It's huge, it's insane. There are terminals, they're like, thank God for all the signs. Okay, this guy said I'm going downstairs. Let me see, gate 80. Yes, 60 to 85, here I am. Yeah, I just arrived, found my gate, and of course, the whole terminal is almost empty. But all the seats in front of my gate are packed. That's because, with my luck, the only 10 people who are going to be somewhere, they are going to be sitting where I need to sit. And yeah, I have been here. Now that I'm here, I have been here. I remember the first time I was here, it was 2012, and I was on my way to New Jersey again to visit the same friends of mine. And for some reason, I decided that it would be a good idea to go from Massachusetts all the way down to New Jersey with a bus, which, when I say it like this, doesn't sound that bad. But let me tell you that by going by bus, I mean 4 different buses. So I had to take one from Orleans to Hyannis, then Hyannis to Boston, then Boston to New York City, and then New York City to Atlantic City. So by the way, this was my longest bus adventure. I didn't even have a phone at the time. I didn't have a phone that was working because I was here for the summer as a J1 student. So I was working. We didn't even get prepaid cards because we basically didn't need phones. We're talking 2012. I'm not that old, guys. Chill out. So yeah, I for some reason decided that was going to be a good idea. I traveled all the way from Massachusetts, and I had a night overstay here at Port Authority in New York City, which was very ratchet at the time. I guess it was just me and a bunch of like homeless people and other passengers that were not very, very reliable or trustworthy. But yeah, that's why I know where I remember it from. Yep. So I'm currently here. I have about 30 minutes until I was gonna say flight. Oh my God, there are birds inside. What the hell? So yeah, I'm gonna eat my food because I'm starving and I cannot wait until I get on the bus. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. 12 years ago, I really did that crazy thing to go all the way from Cape Cod, Massachusetts to Atlantic City, New Jersey by bus. So I traveled for almost 24 hours. And I spent more money than I was gonna spend if I just booked an airplane ticket. I don't know what I was thinking, especially by myself with no phone, no connection to anyone. I don't think I would be that brave now if I have to do it again. I don't think I would do it at all. Now, when some time has passed, I see certain things that I did that weren't really responsible or safe. But I wasn't thinking of them this way back then, I guess. Not to mention that I lied to my manager that I'm sick so I could quit one day earlier and, go to New Jersey see my friend, because this was at the end of my work and travel summer. We were close to finishing our working period and we were gonna start traveling. Well, let's just say I extended my travels with one more day, and sorry, not sorry. I have been so excited to see my friends in New Jersey that I completely forgot to record anything, which of course is a good sign. I arrived last night around 10:30 p.m. in Atlantic City, kind of like half an hour before I was supposed to arrive, and it had just rained when I arrived, so it was pretty like humid, not that hot. I would say I was a little chilly if I have to be honest. But my friend picked me up and we went to their house. I was able to, see them for a couple of hours maybe. Then we all went to bed because we were tired. And today it was my first day in New Jersey. Last time I was here, it was in November last year. So I would say about 8 months ago. I usually visit them every year, kind of like once a year, but I guess this time it's even more often. So I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll come back by the end of the year. You never know. My trips are kind of planned, but also I never say no to trips, so it's not impossible for me to be back anytime soon. I always coming here. I love spending time with my friends. I miss them. They're my closest people. So I enjoy every single moment with them, and I'll take every trip. So tomorrow is Friday. We're gonna do something fun. And Saturday and Sunday, the weather is supposed to be better because it was raining today. It was like pouring rain earlier. I didn't care though because I didn't go anywhere anyway. So I just wanted to, enjoy the company of my friends, staying with their dog and their daughter. So it was perfect. I didn't need to be anywhere else. For the weekend, we had some plans to go to the beach, do a barbecue, and I'm excited because I usually come to New Jersey either in November or December. So for the last 3 or 4 years, I have always been here in the winter. And this is the first time I'm here during the summer for, I want to say, more than 10 years. So from what I remember, last time I was here during the summer, and when I say summer, I don't even mean July or August, I mean like early September. That was 2012, Jesus. Yeah, so 12 years ago was the last time when I was here during the summer. And it was at the end of the season, so it wasn't like a complete summer vibe. So I'm excited. We may go to Ocean City, which is a cool coast city on the ocean side. They have a nice boardwalk, and I would be more than happy to check it out. And things for the next 10 days happened exactly as I was imagining them. Chilling, hanging out, beach, reading a book, playing with the dog and my friend's daughter. I couldn't ask for more. What you can hear now, if you can hear it, it's the sound of the waves, which is the best sound in the world. So enjoy. Also, we did go to Ocean City, as I mentioned in the recording. I was excited to check it out because being a water lover, I enjoy every minute spent around any kind of water surface. So I was looking forward to it. I adore coastal towns with all their shops, food places, the entertainment, the souvenirs. You better believe I got my Ocean City magnet. The boardwalk. The boardwalk was so much fun. We had lobster rolls, then custard ice cream, which I had never tried before. And just walking and, watching the water, hearing the sound of the waves, magical. It was magical. We also got on a few rides in the amusement park. I laughed so much. I love theme parks and roller coasters despite my fear of heights, and I was excited to, get on as many as I could. The park wasn't anything huge as Disneyland or anything like that, but it was fun enough for us to create some great memories. It was really funny because the whole time in New Jersey, with the heat and humidity, the air conditioners were working nonstop, and they were set up on such low temperature, for me, according to me, that I was wearing long sleeves and long pants inside. And once I would open the door to the patio, the heat would immediately hit me in the face. It was almost like there was no oxygen in the air, almost like I was breathing in an oven. It was very nasty. So inside was for long sleeve, outside was for no sleeve, naked. And towards the end, honestly, I was missing the mild weather in San Francisco, and I couldn't wait to go back and land to a nice 60-65 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this is when I started hoping for some low temperatures initially this summer, which has been going on until now. I just knew I would need a trip to the East Coast to remind myself that I cannot take heat the same way anymore. And overall, the 10 days I spent in New Jersey were much needed, when it comes to rest and summer experiences. I just wanted to have this summertime. I got sunburned many times. I enjoyed the beach, got my feet all sandy, had coffee at the beach, chilled evenings, reading a book at the patio, a time much needed when you live in a city. Like a mandatory. I love San Francisco so much, but sometimes it's nice to spend a few days at a place like New Jersey, just being far away from the noise and the hectic life. And then I would say after the 5th day, I start missing the city so much and I cannot wait to go back. Because no matter how much I like having a break from it once in a while, I love San Francisco with all the noise, all the traffic, and fast pace it comes with. And there is nothing else like it. But before I got home, I had one more stop. Okay, it's time for an update. I feel like I haven't recorded anything for days, but I've been having so much fun with my friends and I've been trying to spend, quality time with them. So I am now in Philadelphia. My friends just dropped me off. I stored my luggage at a place really convenient for me leaving after that. Where I stored my luggage is very close to the train station, the train that I'm taking to the airport later. So now I have it's 1 p.m. until I have about 4-ish hours to go explore. So I'm excited. It's not my first time in Philadelphia, but I would like to see a little more than last time. So let's see how this day is gonna go. And this is when I realized that for the last 3 weeks, I was complaining for no reason. What I had experienced in New York and New Jersey wasn't even close to what I was experiencing at the moment in Philadelphia. It's nasty hot. It's, I think, 93, 94 degrees, and humidity is insane, so wish me luck. Seriously, mid-90s Fahrenheit with 70+% humidity is a weather that, first, should be illegal. Second, should come with a playbook how to handle it for spoiled brats who live in Northern California, I guess. Okay, do you guys remember when I was complaining in New York how hot it was? I was complaining from humidity and everything. Well, I want to officially apologize because what I'm experiencing now in Philadelphia is worse, if that's even possible. I didn't know it is, but it's so bad, like it's exhausting to walk in the heat. But of course, my desire to go places and see new places is taking over my body and my exhaustion, and I keep walking because I'm so freaking dedicated to my mission to explore the city that I don't care that it's 94 degrees with 70+% humidity. So sue me. And I just want to say how proud of myself I am that I didn't give up and I still went to absolutely every place I had on my list. Was I bitching about the extreme heat every 2 minutes? Yes, I was. Did I get to see Benjamin Franklin's grave, the Liberty Bell, and the first American flag? Yes, I did. So it was all worth it. I was also drinking insane amount of drinks. Literally kept buying shit to drink every hour. But with the non-stop sweating, I needed it. I think last time I experienced such heat while exploring a big city, which makes it way worse because of all the concrete and buildings and stuff, I think it was in Washington, D.C. last year. I went there in August, which is not a great idea considering how hot and humid it is in this month. But I had the time. I had the ticket for $12 round trip from San Francisco, so I'm like, fuck it. And it was nasty back then. I mean, I really enjoyed the city and I really liked it, but just remembering how I was walking around National Mall and I was just sweating like a pig, which is happening right now. Yeah, so I am now on my way to one of the most popular markets in Philadelphia, Reading Marketplace or something like this. So I'm excited to actually get inside and get cooled down because now it's even 95, not 94 anymore. Not even the Arab Emirates felt like this when I visited years ago. I went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai and it was even hotter there degree-wise, but it wasn't humid. So it was way more bearable. Guys, I don't know if you're gonna believe me, but I've been walking for more than 15 minutes and there is not even a single trash bin. And of course, the second I said it, I saw the first one for today. It's crazy how such a big city doesn't have trash bins everywhere, not even around like bus stops. You would assume everywhere where people wait for public transportation, you would have like trash bins and stuff. No, I've been walking for 20 minutes with my empty plastic bottle, ready to throw this shit away. And literally this is the first one I see. I just checked out the Declaration House, the building where Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. Unfortunately, it's not open for people to visit inside because from what I know, the building is literally it's in such bad condition that maybe it's not safe for people to be inside. And now I'm on my way to Liberty Bell. So I was exploring for a few hours, checked out everything I wanted to check out, and then I got a notification that there was a storm coming in the next hour. And oh boy, it didn't look good at all. Like after the extreme heat all day, you can imagine how bad the storm was gonna be. The sky was already dark as shit. Temperature dropped for minutes, literally. I was just exiting Magic Gardens in Philadelphia, which is an art place with like galleries inside and outside. Outside is something like a labyrinth. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I was just leaving that place when I saw the weather alert, so I was like, I better get out of here. On top of that, I don't know how it happened, but it was already 5:15 p.m. and my flight was at 7:45 p.m. in literally 2 hours and a half, and I was still on my last attraction. Like I still needed to make it to downtown, pick up my luggage from the storage place, and get on the train to the airport. I knew the airport was close and it wouldn't take that long to get there. I originally was gonna take Uber, but with the storm coming and with being a Friday, I was like, I don't think I will make it on time with Uber. It has to be a train. So I checked the train. It was at 5:50 or 6 p.m. It was already 5:15. So thank God I wasn't that far away from where my luggage was. I got an Uber and I got dropped off at the storage place at like 5:30. Immediately grabbed my big suitcase and my backpack and I sprinted to the train station. I wanted to make it to the station before the storm starts, and thank God the entrance was right next to the storage place. I ran outside, dragging my luggage, and I could feel the heavy raindrops already. And right when it was starting to pour, I made it to the entrance and I got in. I was safe. They were still about 10 minutes to my train, but I had to buy a ticket. I had to find the platform it was leaving from. I was there on time and I was happy because I could hear the storm outside, but I didn't care anymore. My transport also didn't depend on traffic or anything like that, so I was calm that, everything was going according to the plan. And then I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and there was no train coming, or at least not mine. Like other trains were coming and going, but the one to the airport wasn't. And I think it was already 6:10, 6:12, and I was still downtown Philadelphia waiting to leave. My flight was an hour and a half, and I wasn't even at the airport. Every time I had flown from this airport, I had been dropped off by my friends, so I didn't really know the situation with the public transport. Does this train stop at one terminal and we have to take airport transport to make it to another terminal? Does it stop on each terminal? Am I gonna have enough time to get to my gate even if it stops on each terminal? The train came with more than 10 minutes delay and I got on. It was 6:25, 6:30. I was still in the train, but at least I found out that it was gonna stop at each terminal, so that was good news. And quick update, guys, I made it less than 1 hour before my flight. Literally arrived less than 60 minutes, and I had to check a bag. I had to go through TSA. The line was kind of big, but thank God it was moving kind of fast. Also, the train that I took from downtown Philadelphia, of course, was late with maybe 10-11 minutes, which was crucial for the time I had. So it was 6:10 maybe, and I was still at the train station in Philadelphia. And I was supposed to be at the airport at 6:15 because they recommend going there 1 hour before the boarding time starts. So I was there less than 30 minutes before the boarding started. I was still able to check my bag and get paranoid about it and also go through TSA and change completely, get some new clothes that I had prepared in my backpack, even bought 2 donuts and a drink. I feel extremely dirty right now. Like, I've been sweating all day long. Like, I would pay someone to go take a shower right now. I feel disgusting. I cannot wait to get home and literally get in the shower. And it was crazy because up until 1 hour and a half ago, I was dying from heat and I wanted to take off my skin literally. And now at the airport, it was so cold comparing to that. Thank God for the clothes I prepared in advance in my backpack. I knew I was gonna change before the flight. I purposely wore the thinnest dress possible in Philadelphia because I knew I was gonna be extremely hot with anything else. So that dress was the go-to. And when I took it off, it was almost sweat dripping off it. I'm telling you. But I didn't care because I was almost getting on the plane to go home. But
what that means as far as time goes, there's still, once we get out, headed out to the runway, there's still at least 5, 6, 7, 8 airplanes in front of us for takeoff. So it's still going to be a little bit, but we should start moving here before too long, hopefully. Thank you.
So my second flight from Chicago to San Francisco got delayed a few times, and when I took off in Philadelphia, the last information was that it was leaving around midnight. So I'm like, okay, I have more than 2 hours to wait after I arrive. Then I landed in Chicago and I get a notification that my boarding starts in like 5 minutes. So instead of being hours earlier, I was actually almost late and just got to the boarding, which has already started.
Yesterday was Jerry's birthday. If there's any deadheads on board, wish Jerry happy birthday. Now we're in the days between as we head out to San Francisco. 3 hours and 51 minutes of flying time. A little bit of weather in San Francisco. It should be pushed up by the time we get there. I invite y'all to sit back, relax.
And that was the end of this trip. I arrived in San Francisco, and the very next day I was already in low 60s, sweet 60 degrees. It felt like a different planet comparing to where I was for 3 weeks. The difference was so big, about 30 degrees, if not more, well, Fahrenheit, that I was a little worried if I was gonna get sick because, after all, this is a big change for your body. And I guess since I came back from the East Coast, I have been enjoying and appreciating the bipolar weather here in San Francisco more than ever. And that's how I felt on my way back from Bulgaria as well. And honestly, barely last Sunday was the first day when I got to stay home without literally doing anything and enjoy the gloomy weather from the window, because last Sunday was one of the few days that I could call a gloomy day. I needed a day like this to completely recharge, but who knows, maybe soon I will be tired of the gloomy and I would want to bitch about, the opposite. We'll see. I promise to keep you guys posted, and thank you again for listening. I appreciate all the reach out and questions you guys keep sending. Next episode, we're gonna dive into some Q&A, so stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next episode, which is landing shortly. Thank you, bye-bye, bon voyage!